series. In today's episode, we are going to style up our chat room screen just a little bit. In the last episode, we did a little bit of work that allowed us to be able to send and decode text messages. And to be honest, we left our chat screen in, a little bit of a rough spot. It doesn't look as clean as it could be. And today's episode, we're going to focus on polishing it up a little bit. So on the left simulator on the screen right now, we have the completed version of our project. When I jump into the favorite villains channel, as you can see, we have this nice background image that is very similar to what you would see in the actual WhatsApp application on the iOS App Store. And my goal today is for us to add a couple of these things. So for example, this header right here, and then I would like for us to add this like admin text view. And then of course, I would like for us to sort the messages using timestamps. So I've gone right ahead and added a to-do list for me, just so I can be able to stay on track and not ramble on and, be able to get done what we actually want to get done for this episode. So let's get right into it, guys. The first thing I want us to do is I am going to jump into Xcode and get started with the first item on our to-do list. And the first thing I want us to do, quite frankly, is to be able to order our messages using timestamps. So I'm going to jump into our chat room view model. So I'm going to go to our chat screen. So I'm going to close up a couple of things here just to avoid some distractions. So I'm going to jump into our chat room view model, opening a new tab. And what I want us to do right now is, so inside of our chat room view model, we are fetching messages using this message service get messages method. And if we jump into that message service method, we have this message, get messages method that just observed messages coming into a specific channel. Now, there's one thing I would like to point out pretty quickly. This method is very inefficient right now because we're just fetching all the messages on the back end. In later episode, we are actually going to paginate the messages inside of a channel as well, just as we have done, just as we did with our users in our user service. But for now, just for the sake of time, let us continue with this. And the first thing I want us to do is to be able to order our messages such that the latest message is going to appear at the bottom and the oldest message at the top. And so here's what I mean. If I jump back to the simulator and the completed version of the project, as you can see, if I enter a new message here, you see the new message appears right at the latest, right at the bottom, and the oldest message is at the top, which is exactly the functionality we expected. And so arrays come with a sort method that allows us to be able to do something like this very simply. And what I would like for us to first do is to say if messages the count is equals to our snapshot dot count, children counts, not count, children counts. Then that's when I'm going to complete. I'm going to return this completion handler. But right before I return this completion handler, I would like to say messages, and I'm going to like to sort them using timestamp. And so I'm going to use the syntax $1, the timestamp. Oh, I don't think we have timestamp added to our messages yet. So it looks like our message item does not have timestamp yet. Let us go right ahead and fix that. So we're going to jump into our models inside of our chat folder. We're going to open the message item file, and let us add a timestamp property because we know each message has a timestamp. And I'm pretty sure we're storing that when we actually create a message. So I'm going to say timestamp, and it's going to be of type date. So now what do we need to do here? Well, the first thing I want us to do before we fix this placeholder issues is to come right here and just say timestamp is equals to what? So I'm going to create a time interval up here. I'm going to say time interval. Okay, and it's going to be the dictionary value of, but I'm going to create the key for that really quickly, as I've done in the previous episodes. And this key is going to be called timestamp, unless we already have a timestamp key, which I don't think we do. I could be wrong though. You know what? Let us actually find out. Yep, invalid redeclaration of timestamp. So we already have a timestamp key. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to say timestamp right here. And timestamp is going to be of type time interval, which is just a double. And I'm just going to default it to 0 if there's no value in there. But there's always going to be a timestamp value inside of our messages. And then I'm going to set our timestamp is equals to our time interval, right? Okay, this is going to yell at us. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. We need date. Time interval since 1970. That's what I need. And I'm going to pass in the time interval right here. So that should get it for us. As far as these, I'm just going to go right ahead and fix these very quickly. And I'm going to have you guys pause the video and sort of, do what you need to do to make sure these errors go away. Okay, so hopefully you fixed your errors. If not, you could just pause the video and enter what we have here, which is I'm just passing in the timestamp parameter and just initializing a date object. So with those errors fixed, we're going to jump right back into our message service, I believe. And inside of our message service, we have our timestamp working now, and it should be sorting our messages appropriately. So let's go right ahead and run our project on the simulator, and let's go inside of an actual channel and see what's going on. So with the simulator powering up, it takes a couple of seconds, but it should be done in due time. Come on. All right, so let's go to QA user 4. As you can see, we have the latest message right here. We can confirm that if we scroll all the way to the bottom. Let's just say now, send. As you can see, now is at the bottom. So that's awesome. We have the first item on our to-do list done. The next thing I want us to actually do is, like I said, to have this background image in the completed version of the project. And here's how we're going to do that. We're going to go inside of our messages list controller. So I'm going to jump right into our chat And right here, we have our message list controller. I'm going to open it inside of a different tab. And what I want to do is I'm going to scroll to the top and I'm going to create a UI view, background UI image view actually. And so this is basically just how you write UI view code, not UI view, I mean UI kit code. And it's pretty straightforward. And all we're looking for is we're going to create a background image. So I'm just going to call it background. If I could spell background image view, which is going to be of type UI image view using some anonymous closure syntax. And we are going to say, background image view is equals to UI image view. And we're going to look for the one that has the image parameter, right? And I'm going to pass this image resource called chat background. And then let's see, I'm going to say background image view, the translate auto resizing masking is equals to false. And I'm going to return that background image view and execute my anonymous closure. And so this chat background right here, this image resource, this is basically just first off, this is a UIKit syntax. This is just how you create a UIKit view or button or text. And in this situation, we're creating a UI image view. And this background right here is actually existing inside of our assets. So if we jump inside of our asset catalog and we open the chats folder, we have this file called background. The cool thing about this chat background is that it supports both light mode and dark mode. And so we're going to see that in action pretty quickly. The next thing we need to do in UIKit is, unlike SwiftUI, we need to actually add it as a sub view to our actual view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here. I'm going to say view that had sub view. I'm going to have the background image view as a sub view. And then I need to anchor it into my constraints. I need to use constraints. So the first thing is I need to create a top, bottom, and leading and trailing constraints. So I'm going to say top anchor constraints is equals to view the top anchor. And this is an array of constraints. So we have to put a comma right there. Bottom anchor constraints equals to view dot bottom anchor. Now let's do the horizontal axis. Leading anchor constraints is equals to view dot leading anchor. And we have our trailing anchor, which is going to be constrained to the views trailing anchor. We don't need to add any spacing, any constraint spacing. And so if you're not familiar with NS layout constraint, this is basically just our UIKit positions UI elements on the screen. And so let us refresh our SwiftUI preview real quick, and let's see what is going to happen. So if we refresh our SwiftUI view or preview, it takes a couple of seconds. Our SwiftUI preview is back in action. And as you can see, everything looks pretty good up here. We can come down here in the preview and ignore the safe area inserts in the preview. I know in the actual application it's working. And as you can see, we have this nice, beautiful background image. But there's a couple of things I would like for us to do. Right up here in the view did load, I'm going to change the table view background color. And I'm just going to say background color is clear. And I'm also going to say view, the background color is clear. So the main container view. And right now that looks more like what I had in mind. And so we're going to see the beauty of this if we actually run our project in the simulator, so we can get to see this background, powering our chat room screen. So if we jump into our tab and look at that, that looks so much more closer to the completed version of the project. And like I said, this supports dark mode as well. So if we jump out of here and we go to the settings and we do, where is that? I think it's in developer, dark mode, developer, turn on dark mode. If we jump out of this, and we jump right back to our project. Look at that. That looks so beautiful, doesn't it? Anyways, I'm going to revert this really quickly. And we're going to go right back to our to-do list. So we have our background image set, and we can check that off our list. The next thing I want us to do, like I said, is to build this admin text view. And the admin text view is really just in the completed version of the application. So if I jump back to the simulator, this is the completed version of the application. And well, actually, that's not. This one is the completed version of the application. You have this admin text views. And basically, when you create a new group channel or when you add a member to your channel, we're going to have this text views that lets you know, if you created a channel or if someone else created a channel, which is sort of, closer to what the actual WhatsApp application looks like in the App Store. So we're going to go right ahead and build those admin text view. And the first thing we need to do is to actually expand our message type. So if we jump into our message item, which is inside of our chat folder under the models, we're going to go right up here and we have this type, message type has something called type, and it's of type message type, which is an enum. So we're going to jump right into this message type enum. And really all we want to do here is add another case. So right now the case says text, photo, video, and audio. Let us add another case called admin. But admin is not just going to be regular admin. It's going to be of type admin type. It's going to take in a type. And I'm going to say it's of type admin type. Okay. So we need to fix a lot of this computer properties and this convenience initializer that we have up here. And the way I'm going to fix this, this title variable is I'm just going to come right up here. I'm just going to say case admin. I'm not even going to worry about the imputed property or the property, the associated value. I'm just going to return admin. And so this is why I could not make the message type, the enum type of type string, because I want this to have an admin type that actually has, that actually takes in another type called admin message type. And so what do we want to do next with that sort of laid out? Well, we've fixed our title property. We actually need to fix our initializer now. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to say, let's think for a second here. Let's just add a default property, a default value. And I'm just going to say if let admin message type, which again, the admin message type is these cases right here: channel creation, member added, member left, channel name changed. Pretty straightforward. And I'm going to say it's of type admin message type. I'm going to create one using the raw value from the string that we are passing into this initializer. And then I'm going to say self is equals to that admin type is of type admin message type. Else, I'm going to return nil. Okay, so it's saying it's of type fillable. Well, let's make this initializer optional right here. Okay, that's good. So now we're able to actually create a message type and also create a message type that has an admin type. Now, there should be a couple of errors that pops up. So let's run our project. Let Xcode do the bulk of the work for us instead of us having to chase them down. So the first place that yells at us is right here. It's saying, what the heck are you doing? You need to fix this, but we'll come to that. Let's just fix that right now. So inside of our message item, okay, we need to fix this type. Right now, the type, we're able to construct it based on the old way because it's just of type string. But now we have added an admin message type to our message type. So the way I'm going to fix this is by saying, let's think for a second. I'm going to say, okay, so we have type, dictionary, text, and it's saying, actually, we just need to let's just default this to text. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so that fixes that. And basically what I'm doing here is because I've made this message type convenience initializer, I've made this initializer optional, right? It's saying what happens if this actually fails. So I'm saying, well, if that fails, just default it to text. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right here. We need to fix this inside of our message list controller. And this is where we're going to add our admin message text, view. So I'm going to say case.admin, and it's going to say what admin type. I'm just going to say type. And let's see here. So there's a couple of things that I want to do here. So for example, if it's channel creation, I want to show this type of admin text view, this yellow type, while if it's any other type of admin message, I want to be able to customize it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to switch on this actually. I'm going to switch on the admin type here. So I'm going to say switch admin type. Let me just call this admin type, and I just type sounds generic. This is more readable. Switch on admin type. Let Xcode do its thing. Okay, it's not really doing the job for us. You know what? I'm just going to type it out. So we have channel creation. So for channel creation, I'm going to put text here. I'm going to say channel was created. Okay. I'm going to create the other case, which is, let's see, participants added. Wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Let me jump into this channel. What are the options that we have? So we have channel creation. We have member added. So essentially for channel creation, it's going to have a different type of SwiftUI components. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. And for these other ones, we're going to have the same SwiftUI components. So all I need to do is say, if it's of type channel creation, I'm going to do that. Else, the default is going to be this one. I'm just going to say admin text. Okay, so I think that solves it. All right, so now let's run our app on the simulator and let's see what happens. So this is yelling at us. It's saying type is of type video. It's not equitable anymore. So what's going on now? Message type. Well, it is still equatable. Oh, we need to introduce a new equatable parameter now into our message type enum. So we're going to do just that. Okay, so our bubble image view is yelling at us because, the message type now has a different type that has an associated value. And so if we jump into our message types, there's a file called message items plus types. We already have that. And right here, this message type is no longer equatable because this admin takes another associated value. And we sort of need to tell Xcode how it's going to equate different instances of this message type. And it's pretty easy. All we're going to do is just create an extension of message type right here. Message type. And I'm just going to say it's equatable. And I'm going to tell it how it needs to be equatable. So the equatable function taking this left-hand side, and I'm going to say it's of type message type. And right-hand side is also of type message type. I think I made a mistake right there. Yep, message type, not message item. And it's going to return if it's true or false. Okay, and so then we're going to switch on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Left-hand side, right-hand side. And let's do some case iteration here. So I'm going to say if it's of admin. Why is it not completing? Hold on, guys. I think I'm making a mistake here. I don't think so. I think the syntax is pretty correct. I'll say if it's of admin and it's left admin, or if it's of admin. Okay, there we go. And it's of right-hand side admin. Okay, we're going to return left admin is equals to right admin. Okay, and I'm going to do a different case. In this case, it's just going to say text and text. And actually, I'm just going to copy this and paste it a bunch of times because I'm lazy like anybody else. And I think we just need text. We need image. We need to be able to compare images, image types. Did we call it image or we called it photo? We called it photo. I'm sorry, guys. Photo. And then we have type video and type video. And what else do we have? I think we have audio as well, right? Is that message type? Yep, message type as audio. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to say audio and audio. A little bit tedious, but we're going to throw a default case here now. We're going to say default is false. So if it's not any of those types. So essentially, this is how we create an equatable, actually, I'm sorry. Yes, we need to return this as true. So if any of those are true, if any of those are equal, then this is true, else we're going to return false. Okay, so I'm going to explain this really quickly. So this is just Swift syntax, and all that's going on right here is, I need to do that. All that's going on right here is we're just trying to tell, Swift to be able to know what types, if we have two message type, how do we determine if they're actually equal? How can we use the equality operator? And so this is essentially a static function that does that, and we're conforming to the equatable protocol. And right now, I don't know why it's still yelling at us. I'm pretty sure everything is good to go. Let me make sure I have the right amount of stuff. I do. Okay, why is it yelling? Switch. Yeah, I think it's good to go. I'm going to run this. Maybe it's just Xcode tripping. It's still yelling. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I need to return false. You know, it's sometimes fun when you're like trying to program live and you just see yourself making really, really silly mistakes. But essentially, we have this now. And as you can see, we have channel was created. Now, why is it showing this channel was created text? It's because the message type is actually what powers the kind of message that we're going to show in each row in our chat room screen. And so now we can jump into our message list controller. You can see when we say when it's a channel creation, we want to show a text that says this. So let us fix this really quickly and let's actually replace this with an actual component that resembles, an admin text message. And so I'm going to call it message channel creation text view. So I'm going to go up here if I can move my mouse, and I'm going to create a new component. Actually, let's create it below audio view. Create a new component. I'm going to call it channel creation text view. Okay. Oh, I forgot to make that a SwiftUI view. So I'm going to say subtype view. I'm going to import SwiftUI up here. I'm just doing everything on hard mode today, am I? Body, some view. And what is this? Well, let's put a preview macro up here. It's going to be of type channel creation text view. Okay, so why is it yelling at us? Let's just put a text up here that just says channel creation text view. Come on, should be satisfied now. Let us resume our SwiftUI preview and make sure everything is working. And then we're going to create this channel creation text view. So again, remember in the completed version of the project, the channel creation text view looks something like this. This yellow right here. So that's what we're going to create real quickly. And it's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure it's a Z stack. So it's a Z stack that has an alignment of top. I'm going to do alignments of top. And I'm going to concatenate two texts because right here we have a lock icon, and then we have the actual text, and then we have another text right here that's bolded. So those are string concatenation or text concatenation. And I'm going to use a Z stack, and I'm going to concatenate a bunch of text. The first text says, it's actually an image. The first text is going to be an image. So we're going to embed an image inside of a text components, and we're going to use an SF symbol, and it's called lock.fill, and we're going to concatenate it. We're going to do text again, and then this time around we're going to say messages and calls end to end encrypted. Okay, and then we're going to concatenate it with this other message that just says learn more. Learn more, full stop, and we're going to bold this instead. So it looks exactly like that. All right, so the next thing we want to do is, of course, style our components. So let's give it a font of footnote, and let's give it a padding of 10, a little bit of Riz. Just, yep, that looks good. Let's make it span the entire width of our screen. And let's give it a background of, actually, we're going to create a dynamic background. Let's just give it a background color of red for now, just for now. And let's give it a clip shape of rounded rectangle, as usual, with a corner radius and a style. The corner radius, let's make it 8. Style is continuous, as always. And let's give it a pattern horizontal of, 30. I think that looks pretty good. Yes. So for the background, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to create a computer property called background color. I really should have imported this using assets, but this is pretty straightforward. And I'm just going to return, and I'm going to access the color scheme environment variable. So I'm going to say environment. Give me this color scheme environment value. And I'm going to, make it private because we use access modifiers as good developers. And I'm going to return color scheme. If the color scheme is dark, I'm I'm going to say the background color should be colored a black. Else, if the color scheme is white, I want the background color to be, the yellow. And so then I'm going to come right here inside of this background modifier. I'm going to say background. Let's see what that looks like. If SwiftUI preview can act right. Maybe let's give it a nice little opacity of like 0.6, nothing too crazy, but nothing too bad. And let us test the dark mode. It looks like that. That's perfect. And that's going to look good with our background image that we installed earlier into our message list controller. So now I'm going to take this channel creation text view. I'm going to jump right back into our message list controller. And I'm going to replace this channel creation with this right here. I'm going to run our project in a simulator so we see what that looks like. Okay, with the simulator up and running, let's jump right here. Let's go into QA user 4 and look at that. That looks beautiful. That is looking much more closer to our project. So let's see where we're at in our to-do list. So we are done with the admin message creations. Let's see, what else do we want to do? Well, we want to do the admin text view. Actually, we're not done with the admin message text view, actually. I'm sorry, we're done with the channel creation text view. So we want to go create this admin message text view because if we jump into our message list controller, we have these defaults that we need to replace. So I'm going to go right here and create a SwiftUI component for that as well. And I'm going to use a SwiftUI file this time around, not a Swift file. I'm going to call it admin message text view. And what is the admin message text view going to look like? Well, if I jump into the simulator and I open the completed version of the project, it looks like this white right here, this white text view right here. So it's going to be a little bit more dynamic than this, this header. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask for a channel because we need to know what channel this admin text view is going to be displayed in. So we're going to say channel item. Okay. We're going to let SwiftUI preview do its thing. Pass in the placeholder that we created. And the next thing I want to do is I'm going to just create a text view down here, the text view component down here, and you'll see why in a little bit, because I want to reuse this text view components, and it's going to take in a text, which is going to be of type string, and it's going to return some view, okay? And the text is going to, pass in the text that it's taken, the title, and let's say multi-text alignment of center, but let us see what we're working on. Let us pass this text view right in here. Let's just say text, view, and let's say something like you created this group. Tap to add, and let's create a new line, members. So let us refresh our SwiftUI preview. Okay, so it looks like that. The next thing I would like for us to do is, actually, I'm going to wrap this preview inside of a Z-stack so we can see what this white background really looks like. So I'm going to say Z-stack. I'm going to do color.gray and give it an opacity of like 0.2. And I'm going to ignore safe area just so we can see what everything looks like. Okay, so it looks like that. So now let's, continue to style our text components. We want to give it a font of footnote again, and we want to give it a pattern of 8. And let's see, let's give it another pattern of horizontal of 5 because we want to change the background color. So then I'm going to say background color is going to be equals to our bubble white. I believe that's what it's called. Okay, yep, that looks good. And then let us give it a clip shape of rounded rectangle with a corner radius of 8 and style of continuous. And let's give it a nice little shadow. So we're going to say shadow with color, and let's just give it a color of system grade 3. Just something subtle. And let's even make it more subtle, like with opacity of 0.1. And let's give it a radius of 5 and 0, but Y of 20. So it's just slightly, you could barely tell. If I zoom it in, you could tell. It's just a little bit elevated. I think that looks pretty good right now. The next thing I want us to be able to do is actually to be able to know if a channel is created by us, because when a channel is created by us, we're going to show this as the admin message. While if the channel is created by somebody else, we want to be able to show something like, let's say, James Bond created this group, right? And we also want to add another one that says something like, and added you to it. Okay, so I'm going to actually just design the SwiftUI text view right now, and I'm going to embed all of this inside of a VStack. So I'm going to say VStack, and of course, I'm going to put this text view right here, but I want to be able to say something like if channel dot is, instead of is group chat, I want something like created by me. And by me, we're referring to the currently logged in user. So we know if a channel is created by me because each channel has a property called created by, and we did that a while ago. But let us finish this up. So I'm going to take these two text view. I'm going to pop one in here, and I'm going to say, let's just put two of them right here, just for now. And the idea is let's jump into our channel item data model and let us create a is created by me computer property. So I'm going to take this, jump into our channel item, command click into it. As you can see, like I said, we have a created by property that has the user ID of the person who created the channel. So right down here, I'm just going to scroll right down here before the placeholder, and I'm going to add another computer property called created by me, and it's going to be a Boolean. And so how do we know if a channel is actually created by the currently logged in user? Let's think about this for a second really quickly. It should be pretty straightforward. All we're going to say is we're going to say return if created by which is the user ID, is equals to auth.auth, the current user, the UID. So we want to know if the Firebase currently logged in user ID is equals to that, created by user ID property for the channel. So if this is true, then the channel is created by me. If it's false, then it's not my channel. So I'm going to jump back into our, let's see, where were we? Admin message text view. And now we have this property, which is great. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I also want to know if a channel, who's the channel, what's the name of the person that created the channel? I'm sorry, guys. I'm running out of breath. What's the name of the person that created the channel? So I'm going to go right here, right below the created by me. I'm going to create another computer property, and I'm going to call this creator name. And this is going to be pretty straightforward as well. I just want to get the name of the person who created the channel. So I'm going to return members. Remember, we have an array of members in our channel data model. And I'm going to get the first item. And I'm going to say, if the $UID is equals to created by, okay, the username, else I'm just going to put someone. So essentially what we're doing here is we're getting the members. We're just getting the first item on that list, okay? And we're saying if it's created by, if it's equals to this created by property, then, that's the creator name. That's the name of the person that created the channel. Or we can also just loop through it, but I know it's going to be in the first item because of the way we created our chat room view model. And I'm going to jump back into our admin message text view. And so now inside of our admin message text view, I'm going to say something like, I'm going to change this. I'm going to say, let's see, channel name. So I'm going to put the channel name. So I'm going to say creator name created this group. And I'm going to do the same thing here, except I'm going to say added you. That's it. So now let's wait for this to boot up. Okay. Now let us run our project. Well, let's put admin message text view inside of our message list controller. So we're going to replace this admin text with admin message text view. It's going to ask for a channel, and we're just going to say view model dot channel. View model should have a channel. Okay, so we need to fix that. Remember, we have our chat room view model right here, and the chat room view model should actually have a channel exposed. So I'm going to command click into the chat room view model, and we have a channel right here, and I'm just going to make this a privately set property, but I want to be able to access it outside of this chat room view model. So now I'm going to jump back to my message list view controller, and now scroll back to the self for row method, and now I'm going to say view model dot channel. Everything is working as expected. Let's run our project in the simulator now, and that should have our problem fixed. Okay, so if we jump right here into the chats and we go to QA user 4, as you can see, it doesn't show anything here. And that generally means I was not the one that created the channel. Okay. Actually, let's think for a second here. I think I'm making a mistake somewhere. Okay, sorry guys. There's a little bit of a bug that I introduced. And really what I want to do is, even for channel creation, I still want to show this admin message text view. And for this one, I'm just going to put a text component right here that just says unknown for now. We're going to handle these other cases later in upcoming episodes. But for now, let's just put unknown. And the other thing I want to do is I actually want to make sure that this admin message text view only shows up if a channel is a group per channel. So I'm going to say if view model, the channel that is group chats. If it's a group chat, then we want to show that admin message text view. If not, we just want to show the channel creation text view, which makes sense, right? For direct channels, we show the header. For group chat, we show both the header and the message text view and the admin message text view. So let us jump into our simulator. And for example, if we go into Fantastic 4, which is a channel I created off screen, you can see it says someone created this group, someone added you to this group, and it also shows this header right here. If we go out and we go to QA user 10, this is a direct channel. So as you can see, it just shows that. It doesn't show the admin message. If we go to QA user 4, same thing. And let's see, if we go to this channel instead, it says you created this group. Tap to add members, which is perfect, which is exactly what we have in mind. And I can already tell that this episode is already getting pretty long. So I'm going to start to wrap up, and we're going to pick up from the next episode. This was sort of a trial to see how much stuff I can get done in a single episode. And I don't know if these to-do list ideas are a good idea, because it sounds like it actually made it worse and the videos are getting much longer than I would like them to be. But thank you anyway for watching this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next one where we're going to pick up from where we're leaving this episode. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.